Hey guys, it's yoUCee here. Today we are going to look at all the cards of Violet Gold expansion as a whole and see where they could fit in. Not diving into how to build the decks that we can experiment when the expansion launches, or we can even experiment if we have the cards in the pre-release haven't drawn. So I hope you got both your free packs on the theory crafting stream. I had a blast watching them, so hope you had a blast too. So I hope you will be familiar with all the cards because I'm not going to go card by card in this video. It might be too long. So to start with, I'm just going to start with Death Knight. Just scan the cards and see which decks in the current meta it might fit in, or if it is completely new or something. Just a discussion, right? Before I start, big shout out to Hearthstone website for a beautiful website where we can review community ratings along with the cards. So with that, let's start. By the way, I'm not sponsored. We have Blood Dr. Thelina, right? She, I think, will ubiquitously go into the Blood Death Knight archetype. I definitely feel that's the case. And if you come to Sawbones, Bone Flurry, Corpse Cannon, maybe Tower of Ghouls, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe even Disguise Doctor, like extra damage. It might be, right? If you can generate cheap tokens and kill this off, why not? I would say. And I would say Blood Clone is more of a discover card. Drink Blood can go into Blood Death Knight. Emergency Surgery, I'm not really sure. I'm not sold on this one. So this is the overall archetype. Living Plague is just like a good discover, I feel. But definitely, if you can discover, you can buff him with her hero power, right? So that is the entire idea. If we look at the Unholy Death Knight archetype, this is where our Sawbones and her friends will fit in, right? This is like kind of like we have to take this as a base and then modify the cards to see what works, right? If you look at the Blood Death Knight archetype, that is double blood and single unholy. This is the current like a good baseline deck. From this deck, we can add cards that synergize well, right? We can add Thelina, we can add Drink Blood. So we can add these cards and see how it feels and how it plays. And then based on that, we can just go on modifying. So what is the overall rating the community has given for this Death Knight is 3.6. Interesting. So let's move on to Demon Hunter. Before we take a look at Demon Hunter, we need to understand a concept called parasitic design. I will tell you why. Parasitic design refers to a mechanic or cards that only function effectively when paired with other cards from the exact same set, block, or subset. These insular mechanics require players to build decks entirely around them, offering little to no synergy with the rest of the game's broader card pool. So this is, just keep this in mind. So that means like they work as a set, but not outside that set. Now, the new archetype for Demon Hunter is Void Soul, right? What is that? So it's a 1 mana spell, summon a random 1-cost demon, improve your future Void Souls, right? This is one card. Next we have a weapon, 4 mana 3/2 weapon. After your hero attacks, get a Void Soul. Next, 2 mana shadow spell, Void Blast, deal 3 damage to a minion. If it dies, get a Void Soul. Next we have 3 mana 3/4 Taunt, Death Rattle, get a Void Soul. And then the legendary card is the kind of like synergizes well with the Void Soul archetype. 6 mana 1/1 no tribal tag. It's the legendary card is the prepare card for Demon Hunter. Soul Parasite, prepare, rush. After you summon a demon, gain its stats. You start summoning a 1-cost demon, then a 2-cost demon and 3-cost demon, and then you will slowly synergize that with your Soul Parasite. That's how the archetype works. Now I hope you understand why this is a parasitic design. In case I made a mistake, you can let me know in the comment section. So overall, I would say I don't like the parasitic design as much as open-ended cards which can fit into any kind of deck we are trying to build. Overall, I would say a 2 star for all of them. And then we have the other archetype where we just send your deck to the void. At the end of your turn, get 2 cards from the void. So this is a more fun archetype that I personally might enjoy playing. Our Hellraiser belongs to that one. Cosmic Manifestations fit into any kind of deck, right? This is an open card. Next we have Prepare card. Taunt, all minions cost 2 more. I'm not a believer on this one. Then Dark Bribe. Draw 3 cards, pick 1 to give to your opponent. I'm not a believer on this as well. So overall, I'm not very thrilled about Demon Hunter's set. It's a average set of cards, in my opinion. And the community has given a rating of 3. If we look at the Druid archetype, we already saw the bonk in our channel. This is the archetype that I did not cover in the regular review videos. So we have Chef Nethrek. Start of game, if your deck has cards that cost 3 or less, set your mana to 10 after 5 turns. This is, I think, might be like a semi-decent archetype, but I'm not a believer actually, because you're having this kind of good ramp and stuff, but how effective this will be, that is a big question. So to couple with our Chef, we have Spiteful Chef. Battle Cry, summon a 2-cost taunt minion. If you have 10 or more mana, summon a 6-cost instead. Then we have one more 3 mana spell. Draw 2 cards. If you have 10 or more mana, give them +3/+3. So it's like drawing and then buffing. So overall, if we see, we have the bonk archetype and the super ramp archetype. Ramp is a core mechanic of Druid, but this is like, I would say, a super ramp. We have 3 cards. We will see what other cards fit into this archetype now. So one good example of some cards in the Chef archetype would be this card, Azara's Triumph. Shuffle 5 random minions into your deck that cost 8 or more, double their stats. So if you look at the 8 drops, in the Warrior, this Beast Dragon is great. Not sure whether you can get the Colossal, so I can't comment on that. Next in Warlock, Demon Beast is great. In Priest, this 8 mana Fight and Beast is great. Ursul, if you can have a good spell to go with this, it's good. I don't think you can get Fable cards as well, but I might be wrong. Again, Colossal Fable, it's Fable, I'm sure mostly it will not be there. Colossal, I don't know. This can be a good finisher, right? Undead card, 8 mana 6/8. Again, Magma Hound, good card. Merithra, good card, but you need to have some cards in your hand to play to get the full effect. Next you have, of course, Illidari Inquisitor, excellent card. This is decent. In Death Knight, 8 mana 5/5, which can get boosted based on the corpses that you have. This one can be a low roll, this legendary card. Again, a Bone Guard Commander is fine. So you can get the idea, right? So the Super Ramp archetype, the Chef archetype, is fine, but we have to see how the entire deck might look like before we take the call. But I'm not too sold on that. Overall, I would say Druid archetype needs a little more help, right? Needs a little more help from the bonk archetype side, and Chef archetype, maybe there is some hidden gem big picture cards that goes well and suddenly this archetype becomes great, but right now I don't see it. Okay guys, now we are going to look at the cards for Hunter. We're going to start with this quite iconic legendary card. 6 mana 6/5 legendary beast, King of the Underbelly. While building your deck, pick 3 contraband beasts. Battle Cry, discover 1, it costs 3 less. So how does it work? It's basically like a tourist during deck building, but you'll only see beasts and you will be able to add them to King of the Underbelly sideboard like ETC Band Manager. So we'll see both the tourist and the ETC mechanic, how it works in our game right now. So we have the Hunter Tourist as an example. Ranger Gilly, what does the card do? Warrior Tourist, at the end of your turn, get a 2/3 Crocolisk. Death Rattle, give all minions in your hand +2/+3. So this is basically a wild card now. So let me put that in my Hunter deck. Now, because it's a Warrior Tourist, I will be able to access Warrior cards. So I just remove the Tourist filter. So I can add any Warrior cards in my Hunter deck. You can see this. I can add any Hunter card or a Warrior card. And of course, neutrals. So this is just an example of the Tourist mechanic. Now let's see how ETC sideboarding works. So here is the ETC card. While building your deck, assemble a band of 3 cards. Battle Cry, discover 1. So how does this work? Now I have added ETC Band Manager to my Hunter deck. Now if I click the band, there is a button that gets enabled below the card. You click that, you can add any 3 cards and then discover it at runtime, right? Like during the game, like this. And then you say rock on. Now there are 3 cards in it and you can choose one. So the same mechanic is applicable to the King of Underbelly. Now the only difference is you'll only see all the beasts, right? Now it's clear. You only see all the beasts and you discover any one of it, like we do it in ETC, but it costs 3 less, so a little bit of mana cheat. So overall, I would say the Hunter archetype is more of this tripwire mechanic, right? Beast, tripwire, summon a random 5-cost beast, shuffle 2 spells into your deck that do it again when drawn. So I would say this card was very powerful during the Theory Craft stream. Deal 5 damage, split among all enemies, shuffle 2 spells into your deck that do it again when drawn. So they were repeatedly doing massive damage with, again, it combos well. Death Rattle, draw a spell that didn't start in your deck. So they kept drawing Arcane Tripwire with Smuggled Shovel. Then we have Tollweir doing face damage, board damage. Then this card as well. Copy all spells in your deck, draw 1. Just keep going, right? So let's look at the existing Tollweir deck and then you'll get an idea. Here, this is a good draw engine. This is again like will fit well into the aggro hunter archetype. So overall, I think it's a good combination of a little bit of aggressive cards and a deck focused on Arcane Tripwire. Now imagine putting Smuggle Shovel, Arcane Tripwire, then Ratcatcher and stuff into this deck. Like we have to see innovatively which card is performing well, which card is not, which card we can afford to cut and so on. But I think this is a natural home for that Tripwire deck. If you have any other deck ideas, please let me know. And overall, the community has given 4. So Hunter looks powerful, right? Now Mage is looking very spicy. I am very much looking forward to playing some Mage in the upcoming expansion. So we have Jailhouse Mana Storm, right? After you cast a spell this game, summon a random minion of the same cost. This is an interesting card. Another interesting card that has already got pre-nerfed. In the sense, like before the expansion losses, this will be nerfed. What is this card? The Skeleton Key. Discover a spell or refresh your options. 20% chance to take 5 damage each refresh. So how this card got pre-nerfed? That is the question, right? Well, first you need to take a look at Spellweaver's Brilliance. A 10 mana arcane spell. Summon a 6/6 dragon. Cost 1 less for each damage you dealt with spells this turn. So basically, if you take damage twice, 10 damage to yourself by chance, now this becomes a 0 mana, correct? And on turn 1, you will play this and you might play a 6/6 or a 12/12. So that is what, shout out to Zeti for giving us all an update. Skeleton Key plus Spellweaver Brilliance interaction. Nerfed pre-launch. Prevents turn 1 6/6 dragon with self-damage combo, potential to go 12/12 as well. So I think this is a great proactive move from Play Hearthstone. So that is the pre-released nerf for the Skeletal Key. The next card we can take a look at is the Prepare card for Mage. 7 mana arcane spell. Prepare. Summon a 8-cost minion. If you have cast 3 other spells this turn, do it again. I'm not a believer on this one. This is the next Prepare card for Mage. 4 mana 4/4. Prepare. Battle Cry. You cast a spell this turn. Cast a random Mage secret. So this is not that expensive, right? So if you prepare it turn 2, so you have to reduce 3 costs from this. So 1 mana. It becomes 1 mana turn 3. I think this is a very playable card. Might slot into some decks, I think. Next we have 5 mana 4/5. Battle Cry. Discover a spell that costs 5 or more. It casts twice when played. I mean, let us see what are all the spells we have that cost 5 or more to get a better idea. So if you look at all the 5 cost spells and above for Mage, from this list, I would say this Leeline spell looks very interesting. Then we have Relic of Kings, also looks very interesting. Spellweaver Brilliance is kind of fine. And then maybe Shadrasil. right? I'm not sure whether you can discover Dragon Soul Shattered, not sure. So those are the 3 cards that are interesting. The remaining are fine, but I think because of this, the pool is quite limited and the card might be. So in addition to what card we saw, we have Code Violet, more like I would say diluting that card pool. I would say this looks like a strong card. Now I understand why the community has given rating 4. I would also give it like a solid 3 stars, not 4. 4 is more optimistic. 3 star is good, like a good utility card, because the rest of the deck has to support this, right? Then only it is useful. Then we have Bootleg Alchemist. Choose a card in your hand, transform it into a spell that costs 5 more. So it's a 5 mana 3/3 minion. I'm not a believer on this one, maybe like 2 stars probably. Next we have Mystic Misdirection. Secret, when an enemy minion attacks, transform it to a 1/1 shield. It's alright. Next we have Reveal a spell in your deck. If it costs 5 or more, deal 5 damage split among all enemy minions. Not face though, only minions. So it's a 3 mana 3/4 spider tank stat line. Fire security. It's supporting the big mage archetype. Cold Snap, freeze an enemy, get a random frost spell. It is like Glacial Shard, but a bit better because you get some additional value from it. I think overall the mage is looking good. So Jailhouse Mana Storm is spicy, quite powerful. A lot of people miss this. After you play him, any spell you cast is going to generate a minion of that cost. So you are playing a spell and not losing tempo on the board, you're gaining tempo. So it's for, like, the wording might be a little confusing for certain people, but I would say like it for the rest of the game, after you play him, you get that effect. So very, very powerful card. I would say straight out 5 stars for this. Now let's look at some Paladin cards. We already saw Looming Death, I hope. Destroy all non-Paladin minions. Not the most interesting cards, but the next one is interesting. 5 mana 5/6 taunt. While building your deck, pick a 2 cost minion. 10 copies join your deck. This goes well with this card, Captured Archmage. If you had 4 other Captured Archmages die this game, cast Fireball at a random enemy. So in the beginning, during my evaluation, I didn't know about this card. So this card didn't look that interesting, but it will be interesting from the deck building and playing perspective to see these both cards in action. I haven't seen it myself, but I think it might be interesting. Next card, Judgment. Choose a friendly minion, set all minion stats equal to that minion. It's one of the most powerful cards. I would say a 4 stars for this one. A very strong prepare card for Paladin. Good started minion, 4 mana 3/3 Divine Shield Taunt. Whenever this gain stats, gain an extra +1/+1. Again, this is the recruit mechanic. Summon 2 minions from your deck that cost 2 or less, give them rush. So something like, Captured Archmage wouldn't hurt. Same, this card, or the Aura, 3 mana Holy Spell. At the end of your turn, summon a minion from your deck that costs 2 or less, last 3 turns. In the same commander deck, we have this Holy Bola, 2 mana spell, draw a card. If it costs 2 or less, draw another. So overall, I would say this Commander Beatrix deck is the main focus, I think. We even have this. After your hero attacks, give your Paladin minions +2/+2. I'm not a believer on that card, but definitely Scarlet Bruiser will go well with our commander. Our Captured Archmage will go well with the commander. It depends on how we build our deck. But definitely would love to see how this deck pans out in the real world. Overall rating given by the community 3.4. Okay, around 3.5, right? Above average. Now, Priest. Priest doesn't look great, right? I would have to say, like, Azelina, it dilutes your deck. If you look at the theory craft feedback and some gameplay, you definitely would agree, right? This dilutes your deck. You can't draw the cards that you put in your own deck. Again, this Death Rattle archetype with Karov is not looking very promising with Undeath Sentence. I'm not a believer on this card. This card looked very powerful in the theory craft stream. It's clear the entire aggro board, right? It was looking very powerful. This is kind of decent. This one, Holy Embrace is a good quest finisher, and also maybe it might have some OTK potential. That's what Zetalot was saying in his review. So this looks like it has some potential or something. This is also strong, but I would say, yeah, I agree with the 3 stars. But like, yeah, this also looks promising, to be honest. It's a holy spell which gives you lifesteal. So 5/5 lifesteal is not bad. Good recovery option. I would say it's a very decent card. These both look very powerful with this card, but the remaining is a complete question mark. So overall community rating 3.3. I would say overall priest rating, I would say 2 only. Yeah. Most of the cards are like either they work in the thief archetype. Only these two are like more individual cards. We will see what that Lord cooks up, and we can also try cooking this deck ourselves and seeing how it pans out. Now, if I am lucky enough to open the rogue cards, especially the legendary ones, I really want to play the coin archetype. Looks very, very interesting, along with slice and dice. If I can get either of them, I'll try to build and join the pre-release Traven Brawl with this deck. If not, let's see what I open and if I can meaningfully participate in the pre-release Traven Brawl. Otherwise, we have the expansion and we slowly catch up. So overall, I think the coin archetype looks very, very interesting. The broken card of the entire rogue set right now is this guy, and I am little worried about this card, right? Lotus Troublemaker. Battle cry. Shoot one random enemy for 2 damage. Play cards for 2 mana while holding to shoot more. If you keep on playing the 2 mana cards, this guy keeps on scaling, right? So what are the other cards? You have the Snap. Deal 3 damage to a minion. If it dies, shuffle a copy of it into your deck that costs 2. Now that will again fuel this. Again, you have Jade Guardians. Get 2 random 8 cost minions. They cost 1 less for each card you have played for 2 mana this game. So same like this, they all synergize well with the Lotus Troublemaker. This is a massive finisher. Mick Banterface in his theory crafting stream was winning left and right with this card. So that's why it looked a little worrying. Of course, it's Mick Banterface, but I think this still felt a little too powerful. Next, you have this Bookie matching that. Look at this. Get 2 random 4 cost spells, reduce their cost by 2. Again, this fuels our Troublemaker. So overall, I think this is quite powerful. I would say a 4 out of 5 stars for the entire class. Right? They have 3.5. I would say the coin archetype looks very, very promising. We'll see. Now, in terms of the interesting new archetype, I would say Shaman wins the cake, right? You have the complete minion archetype and spell archetype with Muggsy. A wonderful set. We covered all the cards. I think it looks interesting. I would say just for how dynamic the deck building is and decent power on either, I think I lean more towards the minion side, which looks more powerful. I would say 4 stars for the entire class. Warlock is fine. We have the Godfrey the Betrayer. Interesting. You can never overdraw and burn your cards. So that goes well with the Rafam deck. But compared to the rest of the field, how is it going to stand out? That's a question. Overall, I would say like 2 to 2.5 stars for this. Let's see what community says. 3.6. We'll see how it goes. I'm not a believer on the Warlock side. But it can be a good tier 2, tier 3 deck in some capacity, I think. The Warrior archetype is pretty interesting. So let's look at Warp Tooth. 4 mana, 3/3 Beast. Again, this can go well with our Hunter Legendary, the Underbelly guy. If 3 friendly characters take damage on one of your turns, summon this from hand or deck. So what people were doing is, in the theory crafting stream, I will just tell you, they were playing Warden Maye and then into all the warrior cards. It will have a boosted stat line and it can go face the next turn, right? Look very powerful. Then they were buffing the hand. Again, potentially, if you have this card, you can buff it. I think some people were running the Control Warrior list, but we'll have to see how that pans out. But overall, I think there is some potential with this Wartooth Legendary. We will see. It looks quite interesting. So overall, I think the community is looking forward to the Hunter, followed by Druid, Mage, Death Knight, Warrior, then Demon Hunter is the last. Not surprising. I think that concludes our Violet Hole card reviews. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe, and check out the videos we have here for more card reviews. Thank you so much for watching.